As we are working with our clients, I was learning something very important. A lot of women say that they're waiting for a man to come to them and approach them and choose them. And what do you say about that?
There's something about that keeps women more likely to stay single.
Mm-hmm.
And so we often think of the guy as being the initiator, the pursuer.
Yeah.
And that's why guys are less likely to stay single if they don't want to be. Like if a guy wants to be married, he generally speaking, he can go get married. He just starts asking ladies out and until he finds one.
Yeah.
And the women are like, well, what about me? Well, there are things you can do, and we'll explore that a little bit.
Yeah.
And it it it's the difference between choosing each other rather than liking somebody in response to being liked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And being the initiator in relationships in general on purpose with intention and design to create friendships, not necessarily romantic, doesn't even have to be opposite gender, just in general, can build that muscle and that makes you a person that people want to be around and like to be around. Is and to not discriminate amongst genders, like make lots of friends of the opposite gender just as well as the same gender, with no expectations, no attachment to the outcome. You're literally you're making friends, and
that builds confidence in
yes, it'll build your confidence in putting yourself out there, presenting yourself. And it takes confidence in building a friendship with the opposite gender without expectations, but at the same time being purposeful with some of the methods we teach in getting to know that person with purpose and intention and design, because you really want to get to know them. And if you'll study some of our other content and videos, you'll learn that there are questions you can ask to determine if somebody's a good match without ever having gone on a date with them. However, you made a friend in the process. And there's no hard feelings. There's nothing to break up from. So powerful people, I noticed, initiate liking someone else. And it's natural human nature to like someone who likes you. To choose someone who has chosen you. But leaders and powerful people are the ones that initiate putting themselves out there. Presenting themselves and choosing the other to love the other person for no other reason but because humans in general desire acceptance and love. And so when there's a person who just does that and puts themselves out there, is willing to be vulnerable, guess what? So how would that look like for women? Can you describe a scenario on if you went back into your single days and you had applied some of the things that you've learned up to this point? What would you say to the women that are wondering, well, what can I do? The men, they just go ask somebody else. I'm waiting to be chosen.
So I was very social, and if I was at church, I was meeting people. Doesn't matter if they were singles or married couples. I was meeting people and I was exercising the skill of connection and having friendships, having acquaintances there. And then, if I find that there's a single man in that group while I'm meeting people, then I start asking more questions, compliments, and more from the friend's perspective, and not putting expectation there, because guys can smell that out, right? And same with even going to a grocery store or any place really. If you see a person that you want to connect with, you initiate it with a comment or a compliment, something that you can start a conversation. And it can be very fun and not intimidating, and it also can be not creepy, right? So we want to learn those things. It's actually exciting to meet new people. It's like when you are a child and you approach another child to play with. It's a similar concept. We just feel like if we're adults, we grew out of that, and now it's time to be awkward. Like, why? We still have that childlike desire in us, like Jesse mentioned, to be like, to like another person and have that connection.
And you mentioned children.
Yeah.
Children often build friendships without expectations. I'm
do.
talking little children.
Yeah.
The younger they are, the more likely they are not to have hang-ups
Yeah.
about being friends with each other.
That's so good. Yeah.
How many times have you seen very young little children?
Yeah.
I'm talking children that grew up in healthy environments, whether it's free from abuse and trauma. You'll notice little girls and little boys playing together quite contentedly often.
Yeah.
There's no, it's great. It's wonderful, and so in some ways we can learn things from children.
Yeah.
And so I'll also mention that I remember some individuals, girls, back in my single days, that let me know that they're willing to be pursued, but they left it in my court on what to do with that, and they weren't offended, as far as I know, that I didn't choose to pursue them. And here's what they would do: they literally would make it a point to come up and connect, talk, chat, be friendly. They were open, and
They're genuinely interested.
they were
right?
genuine. They asked questions to find out, see who I am and what I'm about, and in doing so, they learned some things about me, and I was able to learn some things about them that helped me ultimately come to a conclusion on whether I want to take it further or not. However, there was nothing wrong or out of line with her coming up to me and saying hi, introducing herself, getting to know me, forming me, which is an acronym for asking questions about the other person's family, their occupation, their recreation, and looking for their for the message, which is the M, which is looking for their signs, strengths, interests, goals, and needs. Those are things that you can do in a pure form, in a pure sense, that helps you get to know the other person without ever needing to go into the romantic end of things.
Yeah.
And if ladies do that with an open, free heart to men in general, not only does it give them an insight into who the man is, it also it provides an opportunity to be pursued.
Yes.
And within our community on school, we have people practice this, and that's not awkward because it's expected. It's part of your homework. It's part of the process. And so, but when you do it out and about, obviously you might get asked out more than you want to be,
which is totally fine.
Which is okay. That's fine. There's nothing wrong going out with on a date with somebody if that's what you want. I mean, you're gonna have to. I don't like to say this, but for lack of a better term, you're gonna have to play the numbers game to some degree in the process of getting to know people and making friends.
Yes.
And not every date has to be called a date. Since when is going out for coffee or going out for dinner? I mean,
get to know each other.
You can call it a date, but how about just calling it? Let's just hang out,
connection,
have a great evening together with no expectations. Just get to know each other as friends, and focus on just enjoying the evening. There's no expectations of going out again. It doesn't have to be. I remember there's this one girl that literally asked me, "Hey, I have a few things I would love to ask you about and talk about, some things on my heart that I'd like to discuss." And it's a little bit on the ministry side of things. And she was wondering, like, what would be a good place to meet up? Meet up for dinner somewhere? And I was like, sure, let's just go out to eat and we can talk over dinner. And we did. and it was very good, and it was spiritual in nature. She had some questions, some concerns. She had some dreams that she wanted to have interpreted. Had some spiritual life questions, and she just wanted my perspective and insight on it. But at the same time, I also felt an openness from her, that she was also in doing so opening a door for to be pursued. I chose not to pursue her and just maintain it in the friendship zone. However, I always remembered that was special, and I see that as a shining example of what a woman can do. And there was never any funny stuff going on. There's never any hurt or pain.
I share with women a lot on this. Back in the days when a woman liked a man and she would drop her handkerchief for him to pick it up and bring it to her, and that will create that connection, that kind of a hint to him, right? So that's kind of what we're sharing with you, those tools, because we don't have those handkerchiefs right now, and men wouldn't probably even know why or what to do with it.
And I grant that many will watch this video that we're sharing and have some objections and things that they could bring up that would prove to us that this doesn't work, or that you're a special snowflake, that this didn't work for you or won't work for you. Then we would just direct you to the trauma in the agreements process and receiving healing for the past experiences that you had that proved that this doesn't work. And once you receive healing, you'll be able to open your heart again to experience and receive fresh new experiences that will create a new memory that is not attached to trauma and pain and wounds and breaking up and messiness and just all the chaos and the drama that goes with not understanding basic relationship skills. Many people think, oh, I'm great at relationships, I'm a great communicator, and then you look at their life and they're like divorced, and they're a great communicator, but it's only on the surface. They don't know how to be great communicator when it comes to the deeper things and the intimate things, and to really connect with the heart of a woman. That's if you dig deep enough, you always find there's insecurity underneath the talk. So anyhow, so that requires some humility and laying down of ego to admit that and say, you know what, I need to level up my communication skills, even though I think I'm a great communicator.
So to wrap it up, become a powerful person that is able to go and initiate things and choose others, so that you can create what you want in a beautiful friendship or a relationship or marriage.
So instead of waiting for somebody to invite you to come join their table, you go out and invite that person who's out there alone to join your table.
All right. See you next time.